Have you ever had just those days where you're just so exhausted and you feel like you can't get anything done? Today's like that for me. But we still got work to do. We are day 60 in the vlog, and we're looking at numbers 18 through 20. So we got a lot going on here in these three chapters, and we're going to try to work through it all and put it all together here. Chapter 18 really talks about the duties of the priests and the Levites, and while this has already been communicated in the past, I think the context with the rebellion that had taken place and the rebellion involving a lot of the Levites, God was just wanting to remind his people, hey, this is your role. This is what I've set you apart to do. There's a few other things in here, like the importance of redeeming of the firstborn. Here's where we find that while the tithe that was from the people was given to the Levites, that even the Levites were meant to tithe the tithe. But I think really the purpose here of chapter 18 is to remind them, hey, this is your role. Stick in that role, because there would have been this confusion with the rebellion that would have taken place right before this. Then in chapter 19 is more law about purification. Different things in here, like when someone dies in a tent, what is the method, or what is the steps that you take to cleanse that, as well as dealing with people who are unclean. Then we turn to chapter 20, and it kind of breaks off from readdressing aspects of the law to now more dealing with the narrative around the people of Israel and their journeying through the wilderness. It starts out with Miriam's death. Then after Miriam's death, they come to this place where the people start complaining again because there's no water. Moses goes before the Lord once again and just like, Lord, what do we do? And God says, go to this rock, and I want you to speak to that rock, and when you speak to it, water will flow out of that rock. And instead of speaking to the rock, we see that Moses actually strikes it twice. And on the second time that he strikes it, the water comes out. Now, the first instance when water came out of the rock, God told Moses to strike the rock and water came out. But this instance, remember, God told him to speak to the rock. As the people of Israel are wandering and passing throughout the wilderness, they come to Edom, the king of Edom, and are requesting passage through his land. King of Edom is very much not wanting them to go through their land. He refuses their request. And then the chapter wraps up with recording the death of Aaron. I think with these three chapters, the story that really jumps out at me is the rock coming from the water. There's a lot of really interesting things here in this chapter. If we read Deuteronomy 32 verses 51 and 52, we see that this is where God says, because of Moses' sin, that he would be able to see the promised land, but he would not enter the promised land. And this story, where he strikes the rock twice instead of speaking to it, this is that story in which God causes Moses to not be able to go into the promised land because of his disobedience. And it's important whenever we're looking at these stories, if ever we're discovering what is the purpose of this, is to ask the question, what else does the Bible say about this? And when you turn to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, it talks about this story. It talks about it in the sense that the people of Israel, they all, experienced the same things that God was doing. They drank the same water that other people drank, but God was not pleased with them because of their unbelief, because of their disobedience. And that's exactly why God does not allow Moses to enter the promised land, is because of his disobedience here. It's a reminder for us that once again, while we might have a good idea of how something should be done, or maybe we think we should do something a certain way because it's been done in the past, that we obey what God is telling us to do here and now, trusting and believing that what He is saying to us is what is best for us, and it's what's best for bringing Him glory. You know, Moses, he had done this once before, and it worked really well when he struck the rock with his staff. And even though God told him to speak to it, Moses thought, hey, it worked really well this way last time. I'll do it this way. And on the second strike, it worked. And I think part of the reason why God wanted him to speak to it was God wanted to show Moses and the people that it wasn't Moses' magical staff that accomplished this work of providing for the people in the wilderness, but it was going to be God Himself that was providing for His people in the wilderness when they had nothing. And it's a lesson for us too, that, you know, we look to the Lord for the way in which we are called to live. We don't look at other people and how they've done things, or if certain people have been successful, we try to mimic what they do. It's all about obedience. Obey the Lord. When we obey the Lord, it is the best way that we bring Him glory, and it is always what is best for us in the long run. Okay, I forgot like a couple hours ago, but I'm supposed to teach Awanas tonight, and I totally didn't realize that until a few hours ago. So I'm on my way home right now to spend some time with the fam, then back here tonight to teach Awana. I am back here going to teach Awana tonight to the 1st through 5th, like the elementary age kids, I think it is. Okay, so we are here Wednesday night for Awana. Where's their light? There's no light in here. It's going to be dark for a little bit. I get to hang out in here with the kids. It's bright. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome. Super stoked. Love teaching the TNT. They're an awesome group. Yeah, but today's vlog will probably end right here.